Part 24. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 231. Chapter 231 Cocktail number 68. This is the wine I made for everyone. Chu Shenming looked indifferent and said to everyone. There are several rows of cocktails in front of him. They are very beautiful in color. Even people who don't like drinking will find them pleasing to the eye and even want to pick up the glass and put it in their mouth. The wine made by the handsome guy. The excitement in the hearts of the wealthy ladies were all written on their faces. Then each of them took a glass and was about to put it into their mouths in a ladle-like way. Chu Shenming suddenly interrupted their actions with a smile. You must drink this cocktail in one go, and then let it slowly linger in your mouth to taste the deep flavor in it. Oh, so that's it? When everyone heard it, they didn't think deeply about it and poured it into their mouths in one breath. Throughout the whole process, Chu Shenming kept smiling, looking completely green and harmless. Then, Xia Ying saw that the gentle and peaceful faces of the girls who had just drank the wine turned dark after 2 seconds. In the next few seconds, the girls who were originally surrounding Chu Shenming dispersed and all ran towards the bathroom. Xia Ying's mouth opened into an O shape. What happened? Xia Ying's eyes fell on Chu Shenming's smiling face, and she couldn't help but swallow her saliva. Why does she feel that cousin Chu Shenming, who has always had a gentle and harmless smile, looks so sinister now? Ha, brother, that's awesome. Chu Shenxiu said with a smile. Chu Shenming slowly shook the wine in the glass and said calmly, it seems that the results of the latest invention are not bad. The current success rate has reached 99%. Xia Ying swallowed again. Chu Shenming was indeed a person who took invention as a hobby. Anything in his hands could become an invention. 12 Cousin, what is your invention called? Xia Ying asked weakly. It looked like the medicine was quite effective. Chu Shenming smiled slightly and stared at the wine glass. I haven't thought of a name yet, let's call it cocktail number 68 for the time being. Xia Ying opened her mouth wide in surprise. Does this mean that he already has 68 cocktail-related inventions? But Xia Ying still didn't know how Chu Shenming did it. How could he have such a big reaction after drinking a glass of wine? Those poor girls probably didn't realize that the handsome guys in their eyes were just using them as guinea pigs for experiments. 12 Cousin, how did you do it? What is the principle? You can actually make the cocktail become like poison. Xia Ying was amazed. Chu Shenming raised his eyelids slightly and said, the cocktail is not important, it is just a solvent. What is important is this little thing. Chu Shenming held a small white pill and explained to everyone's puzzled eyes, this is a new type of medicine I have recently developed. It can take effect in the shortest time and achieve the purpose of laxative. At the same time, it can minimize the harm to the human body. If it passes the drug test, it can be used in many fields, such as when food poisoning occurs, it can be used to induce vomiting quickly without leaving any residue. Hearing this, Xia Ying silently lit a candle for those wealthy ladies. Brother, you are so awesome. Chu Shenxiu, the #1 fanboy, applauded and praised. That's great, it sounds great. The second fangirl, Yeziaxun, has fallen. For those cuties who say that Chu Shenxiu is the male protagonist's love rival, let's find out more about him at German orthopedic/smiley face/. I'm just a girl control. Thanks to the little cuties Yanhua Qingshang and Mu Wangshan for the reward. Today's conditions for adding updates rightward arrow recommendation votes over 3,000. Move your cute little fingers to vote for recommendation, epsilon. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 232. Chapter 232 never took him seriously. The cake at Xia Ying's birthday party was made by a top fondant cake master. It was a life-size model of Xia Ying. Xia Ying of the cake, wearing a gorgeous tutu skirt and a rhinestone crown on her head, looks like a noble little princess. Many wealthy ladies were shocked by the beauty of this cake and exclaimed, "It's so beautiful." The envy reflected in their eyes could not be concealed. When Xia Ying saw her human-shaped cake, her eyes widened in surprise. She couldn't believe that what was in front of her was not a mirror, but a cake. This is the most beautiful and amazing cake Xia Ying has ever seen since she was so old. Wow, Sakura, this cake is so realistic. Yeziaksun couldn't help but sigh, grabbing Xia Ying's arm excitedly. She could even see the sparkles in Xia Ying's eyes inside the cake, and the slightly upward curve of the corners of her mouth, which was so beautiful. Aha! Xia Ying nodded and looked at the cake with envy on her face. Then when we eat cake later, wouldn't the scene be very? Just when Xia Ying was obsessed with the beauty of the cake and couldn't help herself, Chu Shenxiu behind her suddenly said this quietly. Xia Ying's face suddenly darkened. Why did she look like a picture when he said that? It seems, it's a bit, something like that. Xia Chuanhai on the side stared at Xia Ying with a tender face. It was obvious that she liked this cake very much. Seeing her happy, Xia Chuanhai couldn't help but feel happy. Melodious and soothing music and graceful dances were performed on the stage of the venue. People below were either chatting about interesting things or enjoying the music and dance intoxicatedly. In a corner of the venue, Qiao Na was staring at Xia Ying with an unhappy face. Humph, why did all the gentlemen who were originally surrounding her disperse as soon as Xia Ying came out? She is the national goddess Qiao Na. Now when it comes to goddess-level figures in the entertainment industry, whose first reaction is not her Qiao Na? Xia Ying is nothing, just a has-been child star. At most, it's just that she's good-looking. Other than that, what other skills can she compare with Qiao Na? Sister Qiao Na, there are rumors on the internet that you and Mr. Qin broke up, is it true? A girl next to Qiao Na asked. Jonah sneered and said, who is that guy Qin yet? I have never taken him seriously. How could she like Qin yet if it wasn't for the sake of maintaining the popularity of the scandal? After Qiao Na finished speaking, her eyes fell on a tall and handsome young man not far away. The young man's profile was so perfect that even when he was frowning and drinking melancholy, he was still stunning. Jonah looked at it, the corners of her mouth raised, revealing a meaningful smile. Only those with Jun Chennai's conditions are worthy of her, Qiao Na. In the ranking of the most beautiful faces in the world some time ago, Jun Chennai ranked first with his overwhelming strength. This ranking is voted by netizens around the world, although it is not necessarily ranked entirely based on appearance. But one thing is very clear, Jun Chennai's popularity cannot be overshadowed. The number of his idiot fans is also extremely large. Whatever Mr. Jun is right, and what he is wrong is also right. To a certain extent, the more fans there are, the more popular that person is. Jun Chennai, the national male god, is the most suitable person for a national goddess like her. Thanks to the little cutie, thousands of people shout for the uncle for the reward. Recommended votes over 3000. There will be more updates. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 233. Chapter 233 Is my brother Chennai someone you can covet? Just when Qiao Na was about to turn around and leave angrily, she suddenly noticed bursts of cold air coming from behind her. Qiao Na turned around and met Mu Niankai, who had also rubbed her nose against Jun Chennai just now. Mu Niankai clenched her hands, stared at her with a pair of big eyes, and looked at her angrily. What are you doing here, you stinky woman? My brother Chennai is also someone you can covet. Mu Niankai said angrily. Jonah was already so angry that she had nowhere to vent her anger, but Muniankai actually dared to provoke her at this time. Xiao Na immediately became anxious, snorted coldly, and said, "You said what's yours is yours. Why didn't I see how much she likes you?" Muniankai became even more angry when Xiao Na said this. Ha, this woman is really shameless. Jun Chennai was already in an irritable mood, but now there were two girls beside him who kept chattering, so he simply left. It would be better for him to find a cleaner place. "It's all your shameless woman's fault, my brother Chennai. I was so angry that you drove him away." "Damn, who are you calling shameless? You are the shameless person, right? He's not your boyfriend, and your family doesn't live in the sea. Why do you care so much? What does it have to do with you? I just don't like you pestering my brother Chennai. What's wrong with me? You bitch. You're the bitch." Hence, the crowd silently watched these two bickering. Xia Ying heard the sound and found Muniankai and Xiao Na arguing by the pool. While lamenting that Xiao Na was causing trouble everywhere, she planned to go over and start a fight. Don't these two people usually pay attention to their image? Now, a group of upper-class people are watching the quarrel, and they are also swearing some ugly words. How ugly it looks. Why don't you know how to restrain yourself? Xia Ying walked towards them helplessly, but before Xia Ying could take a few steps, there was suddenly a huge splash of water. Muniankai and Xiao Na started to fight, and then both fell into the water. "Help, I can't swim!" Jonah yelled as she struggled in the water. Muniankai took advantage of her good water skills and took the opportunity to give Xiao Na a violent shudder in the water and said, "I'll let you pester my brother Chen Yi, and I'll choke you to death." Just as Muniankai was about to swim away, Xiao Na grabbed Muniankai's arm and pulled her, not allowing her to leave. Muniankai was restrained by Xiao Na and could not move, so she could only keep splashing the water. "Hey, you stinky woman, let me go, I don't want to drown in such shallow water." Muniankai said angrily and started to push Xiao Na away, but Xiao Na held her tightly and refused to let go. At this time, the security guards all ran over, but not before they jumped into the water. A figure has already jumped in first. Before Muniankai had time to see clearly who was coming, she was suddenly hugged by someone and dragged to the edge of the pool. Kiana was also rescued by security guards who arrived later. Cough cough cough. Muniankai coughed violently, her hair was wet and dripping. After landing, the man handed her a dry and clean towel. "Thank you." Muniankai lowered her head and was wiping her hair. She thought that she must be very embarrassed now, so she didn't dare to raise her head or see which hero saved her. "It's so stupid." The man's tone was full of disgust. "Guess who saved it?" Although the recommendation votes are still a bit short, the hard-working Xiao still updated it. "Do you praise me?" End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 234. Chapter 234, Who Saved You? Muniankai was startled after hearing this, and immediately became unhappy. He actually called her stupid. "You." Muniankai looked up suddenly and found that the person standing in front of her was actually Hanzija. Hanzija looked at her with a cold face and a look of disgust. "Why am I stupid? If that stinky woman hadn't pulled me, I could have swam here by myself." Muniankai said angrily. Hanzija was helpless. "I mean, you actually fell into the pool in public? You really don't feel embarrassed?" Muniankai rolled her eyes at him. "Humph, I didn't mean it, but you are sincerely angry with me." After Muniankai finished speaking, she stretched out her foot and stepped on Hanzija. Hanzija screamed in pain, "Damn it, you girl, do you want to be so white-eyed? I just saved you." "Who asked you to save me, humph?" Muniankai turned around angrily, originally wanting to thank him in a nice voice. Who knew he would actually call her stupid and look at her with that disgusting look? Muniankai just doesn't like him like this, huh? Hansa just stood there with a black line on his face and looked at Muniankai's back. Now he really regretted that he had saved her in the past. This Muniankai really has a bad temper. Jonah was so angry that she stamped her feet. Later, she learned from others that the person's name was Muniankai. Okay, she remembered, it actually caused her such embarrassment, she would not let her go so easily. At the end of the party, Xia Ying walked towards the center of the stage in everyone's eyes, preparing to perform the final piano piece. The moment Xia Ying put her hand on the piano, the entire audience held their breath and waited silently for the musical notes to appear. Xia Ying has never performed any musical instrument in front of the media. This is the first time, so everyone is looking forward to it. Xia Ying's slender and white fingers danced quickly on the piano keys, and the strings of melodious and sweet notes made everyone feel like they were dreaming, as if they were traveling in a fairyland. Muniankai has studied piano since she was a child and is proficient in it, which is why she admires Xia Ying's piano skills so much. Muniankai looked at Xia Ying with a dumbfounded fangirl face throughout the whole process. She had to admit that Xia Ying who played the piano was really charming and fairy-like. Xia Ying was playing the piano and wondering why Yu Lingfeng hadn't come yet. He said he would come, but now the birthday party is almost over, but he hasn't come yet. Xia Ying felt inexplicably melancholy inside. What is she doing? Yu Lingfeng didn't come, so why is she so disappointed? Xia Ying finally finished playing the piece with complicated emotions. Xia Ying walked to the center of the stage and bowed to the people in the audience. The audience immediately burst into warm applause. I really didn't realize it. The daughter of the Xia family is not only beautiful but also talented. If there is a girl like this, what more can I ask for? Yeah, it's said that I know a lot of musical instruments. It's quite enviable that the Xia family can raise such an outstanding girl. Qiao Na listened to the praises of Xia Ying from the people around her, and just curled her lips in disdain. Oh, isn't it just playing the piano? What's so great about it? Now if you go and pick up any random person on the street, 5 out of 10 will be able to play the piano, right? It's already ruined on the street, so why hold it so high? Alas, these people are hypocritical. Xia Ying was just about to step off the stage. When she reached the steps, Jun Chenai suddenly walked up. Xia Ying looked at him blankly and asked, "What are you going to do?" "A birthday present for you." Jun Chenai said word for word. Xia Ying shook her head. "Let the male protagonist go out to eat sweets tomorrow. Today there will be more updates for 4,000 recommended votes or rewards for more than 10 people." End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 235. Chapter 235 Jun Chenai's Gift. Before Xia Ying could ask further questions, Jun Chenai had already walked to the center of the stage, took the microphone, and said to everyone in the audience, "Hello everyone, I am Jun Chenai." As soon as Jun Chenai said these words, the crowd that had dispersed in the audience immediately gathered again. Look at Jun Chenai's actions, what does he want to do? Everyone is curious. It is said that the Jun family and the Xia family are on good terms, and there were also rumors of an affair between Jun Chenai and Xia Ying. Even though the scandal has now been clarified, there are still many CP fans of the chivalrous couple on the internet. In the eyes of CP fans, Jun Chenai and Xia Ying are a perfect match, and they have the most subtle relationship at the same table. They can make up a series of campus Mary Sues such as National Idol falls in love with me in minutes. The idol drama plot comes out. Today is the birthday of my deskmate Xia Ying. As her deskmate and good friend, I decided to give her a song as a birthday gift. It also represents the friendship between us and my wishes for her. And the song will also be released online tonight, So everyone here is considered to be the first audience, Jun Chennai said calmly, with no expression on his face. The expressions of the audience were very subtle. Wow, give me a song as a birthday gift. Mr. Jun is so good at seducing people, he has the ability to captivate a group of little fans every minute. Jun Chennai has only released 2 songs so far, Glass Ball and Left to Right. However, it was these 2 songs that established Jun Chennai's status in the music scene. He let the world know that he, Jun Chennai, is not just a good man. He can write songs, lyrics, and act. He is an all-around idol. You can either be an idol or a powerful person. This is also the reason why Jun Chennai has so many fans. Even passers-by cannot dislike him and are easily attracted by him. Xia Ying frowned, with a complicated expression on her face. Facing such a special birthday gift from Jun Chennai, she didn't know how to respond for a moment. She didn't even know when Jun Chennai fell in love with her. If Jun Chennai hadn't confessed his love to her yesterday, she would have always thought that Jun Chennai hated her. At this time, Chu Shenxiu behind him patted Xia Ying on the shoulder, frowned, stared at Jun Chennai on the stage with evil eyes, and asked, "Cousin Xia Ying, what does that Jun Chennai have to do with you?" Ah! Instinct told him that that person definitely coveted his cousin Xia Ying. He, stupid human being, think he can get his cousin Sakura in this way? So naive and ignorant. Friend. Xia Ying replied calmly. Friend. Chu Shenxiu frowned, but fortunately they were just friends. Jian Li, Jun Chennai's manager, handed Jun Chennai a guitar. Jun Chennai sat quietly on a high chair, playing the guitar and simply humming the song he gave to Xia Ying. Jun Chennai didn't tell me the name of the song, but he sang a soothing English song. Jun Chennai's voice is naturally very good. In addition, he has been abroad and his English pronunciation is also good. He speaks fluent and pure American pronunciation. Xia Ying listened to the meaning of the lyrics. The more she listened, the more tangled her face became. When I first met you, your smile was as bright as a flower. I thought you were a star in the sky. I thought you were the morning dew of flowers. I thought you were the fluorescent light of the forest. Later I discovered that you are the frost on my heart. My girl, I want to give you the best things in the world. But I found that the best in the world is you. Meeting you is the most beautiful accident in my life. You are the whole world that I can see at a glance. You are the most beautiful sunshine I have ever seen. My girl, you will definitely meet someone who loves you the most. If you are tired one day, looking back you will find. My shoulders will always be reserved for you. Chinese translation. Summon Yu Lingfeng ahead. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 236. Chapter 236 The Love Song of Friendship. Chu Shenxiu suppressed his inner urge to rush to the stage and punch Jun Chennai, and was stunned to finish listening to this love song that was said to be about friendship, but in fact, it was full of love between the lines. After Jun Chennai finished singing, half of the people in the audience were already in tears. It's so touching and touching. Everyone applauded and wiped away tears. Jun Chennai walked off the stage amidst thunderous applause. Jian Li's face is getting darker and darker. Jun Chennai has cancelled so many schedules these days just to write this song? Does he want to publish it? It is undeniable that this song is indeed very well written, you will know it by watching the reaction of the audience. But, is Jun Chennai serious? Is this love song written for Xia Ying? Really as a friend? Even if Jun Chennai can deceive others, can he deceive himself? Jun Chennai walked towards Xia Ying. Before he could say a few words to Xia Ying, Chu Sensio suddenly blocked Xia Ying with his broad body. He raised his head, looked at Jun Chennai with an indifferent expression, and said word by word, "Hey, hey, hey, what are you doing? Keep a safe distance, just stand here and don't move." Behind Chu Sensio, Xia Ying's face was covered with black lines. What was Chu Sensio doing? Jun Chennai glanced at Chu Sensio coldly. "Let me have a few words with Xia Ying." "What are you saying? I'll help you convey it." Chu Sensio looked like a dog licker, and he was inexplicably proud of it. Jun Chennai rolled his eyes. "What kind of top quality is this?" "Well, Jun Chennai, just say it directly, I can hear you." Xia Ying opened Chu Sensio's head, revealing half of his head, and said to Jun Chennai. Jun Chennai glanced at Chu Sensio and said coldly, "Is this person your newly hired bodyguard?" "It's quite competent." Chu Sensio's face darkened. "What bodyguard?" "I'm cousin Xiao Ying's cousin." "Okay, you, an outsider, don't talk nonsense if you don't understand anything." Jun Chennai ignored him. This person didn't understand the implication of his words. He was clearly mocking him for being too lenient. Of course he knows who he is. He is in the entertainment industry after all, and he knows a thing or two about Chu Sensio, the national treasure level male of S country. However, he didn't expect that Chu Sensio, who was said to be a cold and ascetic male in the magazine introduction, was actually a girl controller. Sure enough, gossip magazines are not trustworthy. "Actually, it's nothing, I'm just asking you, do you like that song?" Jun Chennai tried to take a look at Xia Ying through Chu Sensio's human wall, but found that this self-moving human wall was really airtight. In the end, I had to compromise. How could there be such a person? "I don't like it, it's too gross." Chu Sensio answered the words, and looked like his skin was covered with goosebumps. He crossed his arms and trembled twice. Jun Chennai felt like there were 3 black lines on his head. This person has so many dramas. "Thank you, I like it very much." Xia Ying answered politely. She really couldn't think of any words to answer. To put it bluntly, she felt strange in her heart, and felt that she had let down Jun Chennai's hard work. "As long as you like it." Jun Chennai had a happy expression. "My cousin Sakura is just giving you face, you should write a more normal song next time." Chu Sensio's face was full of disgust. Jun Chennai decided to ignore him, rolled his eyes at him and turned around to leave. Just after Jun Chennai left, Xia Ying looked in the direction of the door, but Yu Lingfeng still hadn't come. What on earth is she expecting? The male protagonist will appear in the next chapter. If you reach 4,000 recommendation votes, you can unlock additional chapters. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 237. Chapter 237. I want to give you a gift. Additional updates with recommended votes. After the birthday party, Xia Ying returned home exhausted, took a hot bath and got ready to go to bed. She has to get up early to practice Guhan tomorrow, so she has to rest. At the end of the party, Yu Lingfeng still did not show up. Xia Ying was lying on the bed, ready to check her cell phone for a while before going to bed, her heart feeling heavy all the time. Jun Chennai's song has been released, titled Tomi Girl. As soon as the song was released, it quickly became a hot search topic, and it immediately became a super topic on Weibo. Jun Chennai posted a Weibo tweet to Xia Ying, saying that as a classmate for the first semester, he wrote a song symbolizing friendship and gave it to her. Xia Ying replied a thank you at the bottom and did not forward it. Xia Ying received a bunch of private messages and it from Jun Chennai's little fans, all expressing envy and hatred. Jun Chennai wrote a song specially for her, and it was such a beautiful and touching song that many people said they cried when they heard it. I was moved by the unsatisfied feelings of lovers above the friendship between them. Of course, the most active ones are the CP fans of the chivalrous couple. They seemed to see the dawn of victory, began to analyze the lyrics, and felt that Xia Ying and Jun Chennai had a close relationship. Their CP fans seemed to be on the right side, and then, inexplicably, the CP fans of the chivalrous couple became a hot search topic. Many melon eaters also echoed that Xia Ying and Jun Chennai look good together. Even some people who used to be Hey Xia Ying when they were involved in the scandal suddenly and silently switched sides. Inexplicably, I got the cuteness of this couple, and suddenly I really wanted them to be together. Xia Ying put down her phone and stopped reading. Xia Ying just closed her eyes when a gust of wind suddenly blew by. Xia Ying subconsciously opened her eyelids and saw a dark figure on the balcony. Inexplicably, Xia Ying felt that the dark figure was Yu Lingfeng. So Xia Ying lifted off the quilt, took 3 steps and 2 steps at a time, and walked towards the balcony. As expected, Xia Ying walked to the balcony and saw Yu Lingfeng. Yu Lingfeng was still wearing black clothes, with an expressionless face and a pair of deep and dazzling eyes that made people dare not look at him for one more second, otherwise they would fall deeply into despair. "I thought you wouldn't come," Xia Ying said. Yu Lingfeng stared at her plain face without makeup. Under the soft moonlight, Xia Ying's eyes were as bright as stars, and they were extremely bright and moving. Xia Ying's hair was a little messy because she had just been lying on the bed, but it made her look even more lazy and charming. "Sorry." Yu Lingfeng approached Xia Ying, stretched out his hand to smooth the broken hair on her forehead, and said to her, "I don't like crowds very much. Especially the so-called upper-class people." Xia Ying frowned and looked at Yu Lingfeng in confusion. Yu Lingfeng doesn't like crowds. No wonder he has been living in such a remote place, but why? There must be a reason why Yu Lingfeng is so withdrawn, right? Xia Ying was about to ask, but when her words came to her mouth, she took a detour again. Is it weird to ask this? If Yu Lingfeng wanted to say something, he would probably explain it himself. "Happy birthday," Yu Lingfeng continued. "Thanks." Xia Ying smiled faintly. "I want to give you a gift, but I don't know if you will accept it," Yu Lingfeng suddenly said with profound meaning. "What?" Xia Ying blinked, not knowing why. "Give me your hand." Xia Ying obediently spread her palms, and then Yu Lingfeng's generous palm clasped Xia Ying's white and tender hands. Xia Ying was confused for a moment. Why do people keep asking about the name of that song? Didn't I write a song that Jun Chennai composed himself? That is, it was written by Xiao, and it can't be found. Thanks to the little cutie 15119, send a distant dream, 13209, I miss you for a long time and I will never heal, the one you like, Yun My Luo Chen's reward. Let me tell you one thing. Today I accidentally discovered that an author copied and adapted this novel. I won't name him. I just hope that you can modify it consciously if you see it. There is nothing wrong with liking writing, but please use your own efforts to realize your dreams. There is no shortcut in the world. Maybe you are still young and don't understand the definition of plagiarism, but I hope you can turn around soon after seeing it. Otherwise, I will resolutely protect your rights. As above. This chapter is an additional update if the recommended votes meet the standard. The next chapter will be a high sugar warning. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 238. Chapter 238. My birthday is your birthday. Yu Lingfeng, do you mean that? Xia Ying's mind suddenly went blank. What does Yu Lingfeng mean? Birthday gift, is it him? Do you want to be flirty like this, flirty? What do you mean? Yu Lingfeng frowned slightly and looked at Xia Ying in confusion. Why did she react so strongly? Could it be that she had already guessed the gift he was going to give her? That is. Before Xia Ying could finish speaking, Yu Lingfeng put down her hand, and Xia Ying suddenly saw a small chip lying in the palm of her hand. It was very similar to the one Yu Lingfeng gave her last time, except it was smaller. It turns out that the birthday gift was this small chip, she thought. Wait a minute, what nonsense is she thinking about? What do you mean by what you just said? Yu Lingfeng asked puzzledly. Ah, no, it's nothing. Xia Ying shook her head and her face turned red unnaturally. Yu Lingfeng explained, this chip is my latest development. It allows me to know your whereabouts and find you anytime and anywhere. However, I am not sure whether you are willing to accept it. Yu Lingfeng's sense of crisis is getting stronger and stronger now. Even if he can protect her, he cannot avoid all accidents. He didn't want to see her leave again like in his last life. He wanted her to live well, whether it was for him or for herself. Xia Ying didn't quite understand Yu Lingfeng's purpose of giving her such a small chip, so she asked, what else does it do? You also have a little bit of immunity. You have immune function against some common diseases, which greatly reduces your chance of getting sick. Moreover, your wounds will heal faster than others. However, the use of this small chip, the period is only 1 month, so it needs to be replaced regularly. So amazing. Xia Ying stared at the small chip in the palm of her hand. It looked like an ordinary small chip, but it had such a powerful effect. Yu Lingfeng's body fluids have a healing effect. The chip extracted some red blood cells from his body, so it has this effect. Yu Lingfeng, you are always so kind to me, I don't even know how to thank you. Xia Ying said hesitantly. She didn't even know why Yu Lingfeng had always been so kind to her. Sometimes, Xia Ying feels that she is not worthy of Yu Lingfeng being so kind to her. He seemed to be able to give her everything, but she couldn't do anything for him. She didn't even know Yu Lingfeng's birthday. If you want to thank me, take good care of yourself. Yu Lingfeng whispered. Xia Ying pursed her lips and then asked, Yu Lingfeng, when is your birthday? Yu Lingfeng lowered his eyes and subconsciously glanced at the black watch on his left wrist. I'm afraid I can't wait for his birthday now. Cannot remember. Ah. Xia Ying was surprised that she couldn't even remember her birthday. Yu Lingfeng was really scary. Xia Ying suddenly thought about it. Yu Lingfeng's father had left him when he was very young. Yu Lingfeng had lived alone since he was a child. Yu Lingfeng's heart was probably a little traumatized. Xia Ying straightened up, patted Yu Lingfeng's arm, smiled and said to him, from now on, my birthday will be your birthday. Reader, the author's routine is deep, I want to go back to the countryside. Xiao, are you, like Xia Ying, thinking that Yu Lingfeng intends to give herself to Xia Ying? He, I've set a trap for you. There will be candy in the next chapter. It will be distributed at noon tomorrow. Good night. Today recommended votes reached 5200 additional update. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 239. Chapter 239. They are not as good as you. The San Diego Music Competition has arrived as scheduled, and the preliminary round was held at the Imperial Music Hall, which fully demonstrates the authority and grandeur of this competition. On the day of the preliminary competition, Chu Shenxiu and Luo Xian came over with Xia Ying. Chu Shenming's Drug Research Institute had something to do and didn't come over. Xia Ying is number 126. Xia Ying is sitting in the audience area, which is the corresponding position in the waiting area. Behind the hall are rows of reporters and media following and filming. The 2 rows of seats in front of the hall are filled with authoritative music judges from all over the world. Any one of them is a well-known figure in the music industry. The preliminary round mainly involves performing piano and an instrument of your choice. The repertoire in the first round is specified, and the repertoire in the second round is self-determined. This year's custom piece is Flight of the Bumblebee, one of the fastest piano pieces in the world. It is very difficult and tests hand speed and skills. How to play every note completely and integrate your own emotions to leave a deep impression on the judges and teachers is the key to winning. Xia Ying took a deep breath, and beads of sweat began to appear on her palms. I have to say, she was a little nervous. Although she has been exposed to music since she was a child and is very talented in music, the world is such a big place and there are many talented people. Xia Ying really didn't have such strong self-confidence that she would definitely win. She could only try her best and go all out. After listening to the performance of the previous players, Xia Ying's palms were already wet. Sure enough, they were all a group of masters. This was the first time for Xia Ying to compete with so many masters. Xia Ying felt both excited and nervous. Xia Ying glanced at Chu Sensio beside her. Chu Sensio kept a straight face. It didn't seem like he was enjoying the music at all. Instead, he gave people a sense of constipation. During the intermission, Chu Sensio stretched and yawned. He looked tired and said lazily, "It's boring. They're all a bunch of robots. So what if they play all the notes correctly, no emotion at all, boring and boring." Xia Ying was slightly stunned after hearing this, and looked sideways at Chu Sensio. He didn't seem to be joking. Chu Sensio's music appreciation ability and musical skills are both superior to Xia Ying's. If Chu Sensio's singing was not in tune and he couldn't pass the vocal section, he would probably have signed up for this music competition. "Cousin Sakura, don't be nervous, they are not as good as you." Chu Sensio looked at Xia Ying with a smile and said. Xia Ying shrugged and didn't answer. She just stood up and said, "I'm going to the bathroom." Xia Ying wanted to wash her face and try to calm herself down. When Xia Ying stood up, someone in the corner suddenly lowered his head and withdrew his gaze from her. Xia Ying glanced at it hastily, without thinking much or paying attention. When Xia Ying came out of the bathroom, she bumped into Yu Lingfeng and 11 Ju in the corridor. Apparently, they have just arrived and are preparing to enter the venue. "Yu Lingfeng." Xia Ying stopped him. Yu Lingfeng stopped and turned around to look at Xia Ying. "Why are you here?" Xia Ying frowned. She remembered that this venue required admission tickets. "Of course I'm here to see you compete, Sakura." 11 Ju replied with a smile. Xia Ying looked at Yu Lingfeng, who nodded expressionlessly. "Yeah. Do you have tickets? The seats here are fixed." Xia Ying whispered. "Ta-da." 11 Ju smiled and took out 2 shiny golden tickets to show to Xia Ying. "Thanks to the little cutie Yi's Hiren, 139.98, SKJ, Mu Mang Fu Sheng for the rewards. The additional chapters of the recommended votes will be updated around 10 o'clock. I'm writing, don't worry." End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 240. Chapter 240. Have you ever thought about changing your tutor? Recommendation votes will be added. Xia Ying opened her eyes in surprise and said in disbelief, "How did you do it?" 11 Ju showed a standard 8-tooth smile and said proudly, "There is nothing that can trouble Master and me." Xia Ying was amused by 11 Ju. "Okay then. Go in." Yu Lingfeng's tone was calm. Xia Ying nodded and followed Yu Lingfeng Zihu into the hall. Chu Sensio was looking at the venue at this time, wondering why cousin Sakura had been going to the bathroom for so long. It's really hard not to see cousin Sakura for a minute. When Chu Sensio saw Xia Ying walking into the hall with a beautiful smile, a pair of dull eyes suddenly shone brightly. However, the brightness did not last long before it was dimmed by Yu Lingfeng and 11 Ju who followed. Down. Who are those 2 people? To be so close to cousin Sakura. How abominable. Chu Sensio's low soliloquy question fell into Luo Xian's ears. Luo Xian turned her head and looked over. "Hey, Ling Feng and 11 Ju are here too. Chu Sensio became even more unhappy when he heard Luo Xian's intimate tone. Auntie, our cousin Sakura familiar with those two men? Of course we are. Ling Feng is Xiaoying's tutor, and 11 Ju is Ling Feng's housekeeper. Luo Xian explained. Tutor? Doesn't this mean that cousin Sakura has been getting along with that cold man day and night? Oh, my god. The sky is falling. When Xia Ying walked over, she noticed that Chu Sensio's face was very dark, so she casually asked, "What's wrong with you?" Yu Lingfeng and 11 Ju sat in the seats behind Xia Ying. Chu Sensio glanced at Yu Lingfeng. How could he be so close to his cousin Sakura? With ulterior motives. Humph, no one can withstand the killing look in Chu Sensio's eyes. Even if he is so handsome, he is still not worthy of his cute, beautiful, and kind cousin Sakura. Don't have any wishful thinking. However, facing the so-called killing look from Chu Sensio, Yu Lingfeng remained unmoved and even just glanced at Chu Sensio flatly. Yu Lingfeng felt calm at this moment, and even wanted to look at Xia Ying more. Chu Sensio was stunned. How could this person have such a great aura and be unmoved by Chu's eyes? It seems that this big boss has quite a lot of blood. Zihu looked at Chu Sensio in front of him and swallowed silently. Why was this guy staring at his master with such an expression of blood feud? 11 Ju was still wondering. Seeing that Yu Lingfeng was unmoved, Chu Sensio changed his target and looked at 11 Ju. Zihu was stunned for a moment, feeling completely calm. He even wanted to read a comic. By the way, I really want to read it. However, the little brother is still quite handsome. Chu Sensio felt more and more that something was wrong with 11 Ju's gaze, and then he said game over in his heart, turned his head, and gave up his eyes. He was really unhappy that Chu's eyes had failed. Cousin Xiaoying. Chu Sensio called Xia Ying by the side with a breathy voice. Xia Ying focused on the performance on the stage and just silently moved closer to him, indicating that he could just tell her in a low voice. She didn't have time to divert her attention, she was screening her opponents. Have you ever thought about changing your tutor? Chu Sensio whispered something in Xia Ying's ear. Xia Ying froze for a moment, and Yu Lingfeng's face sank behind her. This is an additional update for those whose recommended votes are up to standard. Thank you little cutie stunning eyes phantom for the reward. End of this chapter.